So it's time for my July TBR. So I have a couple of books that I am committed to reading because of read-alongs and book clubs and things. So the first one of those is The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson, which is part of the Cosmere Unbounded read-along that is happening. The book for July is The Alloy of Law, so I'll be reading that one. It's a pretty short one, so that shouldn't be too much of a difficulty, plus it'll be a reread for me, so that one's all good. And we are reading The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler for the Thoughtful Book Club pick for July, so do head over to my Discord if you would like to read that with us. The link will be in the description bar as always. And The Parable of the Sower is going to be interesting, I think, because it was written in the early 90s, 93, 94 I think, and it's actually set during the early 2020s, which is obviously where we are now. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the author thought the world would be like. It is sci-fi, but I think it's supposed to be kind of slightly dystopian, and from what I've heard, it's eerily similar to how things actually are. So that should be interesting, and it's a classic, so that will be good. And The Alloy of Law is book one in Era 2 of Mistborn, slightly more flintlock fantasy in style. Not my favourite, but maybe I'll prefer it more now or this time because it will be a reread, my second time reading it. So that's the ones that I'm committed to reading, and I'm just realising I kind of need to change this angle slightly because I need to stand back here because I'm going to do this roll the dice TBR game that we got in a recent Fairy. I can't actually remember which one now. Maybe the May one? I don't know. Either way, I've written out a few lists for myself, and I have the dice just here, which I'll get out in a minute. So I have my top 21 for 21 list, so I'm going to roll the dice to pick at least one of these that I'm going to read in July. Then I have my oldest list, so this is the 20 books that have been on my physical TBR for the longest. I don't tend to prioritise those, so I've put them on here. We're going to pick one of those. Then we have my newest, because of course they're the ones that I've added most recently and that I'm arguably most excited about. So these aren't including any of my June hauled books, but those are pretty new, so we're going to pick one of those. Sorry if you can hear Lee sneezing in the background. He appears to be having a bit of a sneezing fit currently. And then I have my least likely. So these aren't necessarily the ones that are the oldest on my TBR, but they're the ones that I don't feel drawn to picking up for whatever reason. And we're going to pick one of those. These and the oldest ones in particular are ones that I will try to prioritise getting to throughout the month, but are also the ones that I'm most likely to DNF. In fact, some of the ones on this oldest list I have DNF'd previously and I've wanted to go back to them, so it's possible that I'll end up DNFing them, but we'll see. So we're going to pick one from each of these lists, and I'm going to get out there's a little space on this shelf here, so I'm going to use that for the rolling. I have my very nice dice, actually. It's really pretty. There, it's quite weighty as well. And we're going to do top 21 first, so let us see. This list only actually has 11 on it, so if I roll higher than 11, I'll just keep counting back round until we get to a book. So that was, a 5. Perfectly Preventable Deaths by Deirdre Sullivan. Nice. Okay, so we're going to be reading this one. Well, I'm going to be reading this one, which is about twins Maddie and Catelyn, who have moved to Ballyfran, which is an isolated, peculiar town in the mountains, and teenage girls have been going missing, and it's mystery, it's a little bit dark. It is YA, I think. Yeah, it's YA, it's definitely not middle grade. It's, from the formatting, it doesn't look like middle grade, so YA, and yeah, super excited. And this one's nice and floppy. You know I always appreciate that. So that's book number 1, well, technically book number 3 for July, because we already have The Alloy of Law and Parable of the Sower, but anyway. Next up we're going with oldest, so roll the dice. I do actually have 20 on all of the other lists, it was only that one that was short. So this one is number 17. Ooh, Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. There it is. Okay, so this is book 1 in her duology. So her debut novel was To Kill a Kingdom, and I read that one and I enjoyed it. That was a Little Mermaid retelling, but like slightly darker in tone, and this is her second published book, and it's the first book in a duology, which I bought so long ago that I can't remember what it's about. So let's find out together. The streets of Creia are for the deadly and the dreamers, but 4 crooks know just how much magic they need up their sleeve to survive. Tavia sells dark charms and potions until she can escape the city. Wesley does whatever it takes to further his criminal empire. Karam makes a deadly name for herself in the fighting rings, and Saxony plots revenge on the people who destroyed her family. After a sinister new magic hits the streets, these 4 outsiders must come together to save their city before it's too late. But with enemies at all sides, they can trust nobody, least of all each other. So, fun fantasy adventure story, probably with some romance, knowing Alexandra Christo. So that was oldest. What do we have next? Next we have least likely. Least likely, interesting. So let's find out what we're reading for this one. I don't know why I keep saying we. Clearly I'm doing the reading here. And we have number 7, which is Surfacing. Where is that one? I think that's this one, by Nora Rayleigh Baskin, I think is how you pronounce her name, pretty sure. And this one's quite a short one, which is nice. This one is following Maggie Paris, who is on the school swim team and has an uncanny, almost magical ability to draw out people's deepest truths, even when they don't intend to share them. Her classmates are avoiding her, and even her parents, busy at avoiding each other, have become wary, not wanting to confront the secret deep at the heart of their devastated family. A lyrical and deeply moving story about finding the courage to confront your ghosts one truth at a time. So I feel like it's probably speculative fiction. I feel like from the formatting of this it might actually be middle grade because the margins are huge. So we have that one. So this is going well because these are not books that I necessarily would have chosen, which is kind of the point of this. I need to be picking up the stuff that I've been not getting to, and if I end up D'ing and F'ing it, that's fine. It can then go off of my shelves and make space for stuff that I'm genuinely interested in reading. So this is all good, this is positive. And the final list is the newest books on my TBR. So let us see. This is obviously not including stuff that I had hauled recently that I've already read, of course. This is just stuff that's still on my TBR. And that was a 6. So, The Babysitter's Coven. Where's that? There we go. The Babysitter's Coven. So, I bought this from a charity shop recently, a couple of months ago when I was doing shopping with my sister, and this is a YA story about a coven of witches who also babysit together. All I know, my sister's read it, she thought it was really fun and quick and easy, and that pile it looks very achievable to me. I feel like this dice has chosen largely YA, possibly one middle grade if not YA. It's been quite kind to me there, I think. So that's good. So on top of that, of course, we have The Alloy of Law, which I can actually put on the pile, and Parable of the Sower, which I do not have a physical copy of, but I will probably borrow it from the library, I imagine. And this looks like a very, very reasonable TBR, and I don't think I'm going to add anything to it because I have a few things from June that I didn't get to that I really wanted to read, and I haven't managed to read them yet, so this leaves me space to do that. And I am really, really, really keen to reread Rhythm of War. So if I get through these and I get through what's left over from June and I get through the Parable of the Sower as well, I may reward myself by rereading this bad boy. And I'm quite happy with this. I am happy with this situation. I feel good about it. Let me know what you're reading in July. I almost said June then. In July. And if you've done a TBR, let me know. I will watch it. Don't forget to check out Ponderful Books in the description bar. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks. Bye.